All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Mental Theater. We are back with the full squad. Oh, the Avengers are here. What up, Avengers?
Avengers assemble. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
All right, what's up?
Good. Chloé, what's up?
I missed you guys.
Yeah.
We missed you too. Are you nice and full, Tony?
Yeah, I am, man. Sandy seen a commercial on TV with French toast, and she was like, "We should get breakfast." I was like, "We should." And then I was like, "But where could we go?" She's like, "I told you the diner down the street got an outside thing." So next thing you know, we were sitting there eating, and then Josh text came through. All right, guys, they're sending out the email. I was like, "Oh."
One job.
Coming from the guy who said I won't be available till 11:30.
I did that for you, man.
Yeah, well, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, I guess we can start in a galaxy far, far away.
Woo.
Because George Lucas is back at the helm for Star Wars. And allegedly, the rumor is that there is at least 10 plus TV shows for Disney Plus in the works in the Star Wars universe.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched the video that you sent this morning or last night or whatever it was, stuff like that. So, I mean, it'd be good if he can fulfill his vision that he always had. So that'll be dope. I don't know if 10 series is, maybe oversaturation, but if he does some movies, I think it'll be pretty good. So.
Well, if he make each series and it's a spotlight on something different, I think he could pull it off. Because Star Wars is so vast that if the main focus is on something different but have tie-ins, then I think it'll work.
Makes sense.
And Chloé, your thoughts after seeing probably one of the best shows on Disney Plus, without giving away any spoilers for Tony, who still hasn't seen it yet.
You're the only one left, Tony. Only one left.
All right.
I have to censor myself today. I'm not really good at censoring myself. But without giving it away, it was awesome. So hopefully if he does series, I like the whole tie-in thing. Because I would be curious to know if they have spin-off shows that all come together. And I would love to just see a show on its own about the kid. How the kid came about.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
That would be. I would just watch that. I wouldn't even watch Man.
Absolutely. And if it's anything like Mandalorian, any of those 10 shows, honestly, Miguel, I'm not sure if it'll be oversaturated, especially when you have Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni all helping creating the Star Wars version of the MCU, basically. And if they do it correctly, I think it would be formidable and potentially larger than the MCU because of that Star Wars fan base. So they have to knock Obi-Wan out the park. I think what's it called? George is signed on for his own trilogy as well to be a part of that. So, and as Chloé was saying, I think they will tie it all in together, similar to the MCU. It'd be very interesting.
Yeah. My only problem where I don't see it being bigger than Marvel. Maybe money wise, maybe. I don't see it being bigger than Marvel altogether because the characters in Marvel is well more known than characters in Star Wars, So I feel like Star Wars has a certain group of people, and then they have a vast majority of people who know Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. You know what I mean? But when Marvel, if you say the Hope, Iron Man, you just throw out names. I don't care. Your grandma know who Iron Man is. You know what I'm saying? So these characters are so big for so long. Star Wars it'll take a while for Star Wars to trump that. But if you say money, because we know as time goes on, movies start making more and more money because more theaters, whatever. But I don't know if I personally would look at it and be like, man, they did their universe was, bigger than the Marvel universe. Maybe I'm saying that because,
I like your point, but as a person who doesn't watch Star Wars at all, or knows anything about them, after watching Mandalorian, I'm curious to see if they have spin-off shows from those characters. I would love to see it. The Star Troopers They could have their own show. They were funny. And the kid, he could have his own show. Then the woman warrior, whatever her name was, she could have her own show. The Mandalorian, like I think that they're gonna go that route where they're like giving you backstories about the different components of Star Wars, so then you build like a fan base off of that. Because I would totally watch a show just off of the Star Troopers because they were hilarious.
Wow. So like a comedy show?
Well, yeah. I mean, why not? It's Disney, and then it's Disney. Like Disney, their whole like they just produce magnificent pieces. Like I don't expect anything less. It's Disney.
Well, I will say that you know, if you want to introduce some new characters and new stories, I'll be definitely interested in where Lucas George and his mind is at, you know, since he has been able to do it for the last whatever years and stuff like that. So,
and just to push back a little bit on your point, Tony, I would just say if you think about where the MCU started with Iron Man, before that Iron Man film, no one was really concerned about Iron Man at all.
Yeah, that good point. But here's my point. Everybody knew who Iron Man was. That's different between you have like Qui-Gon Jinn. Some people are like, who the heck is that? Like, you don't know who that is? No, I don't. But you know who Iron Man was. So that's the difference, you know.
I don't think I knew who Iron Man was until the movie came out, to be fair.
Fine.
Like I knew comics. I knew who Spider-Man was and Batman, but I also only knew them from the movies and then read the comic.
Right. But I think if you was to take how many people don't know a Marvel character, right? Like Iron Man versus who knew Qui-Gon Jinn, it's gonna be a big difference. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because he had a movie. If he didn't have a movie, I don't think anyone would.
No, Iron Man had cartoons. Like, Iron Man had comic books. Like Iron Man was out there. You know, like I get if you never heard of Iron Man, but trust me, like a lot of people heard of Iron Man. You know, versus what I'm saying.
I didn't.
You never, Josh, you never heard of Iron Man before.
Honestly, I'll be completely frank. I confuse Mega Man and Iron Man all the time because both of them were irrelevant.
Wow. That's
hilarious.
Mega
Man and Iron Man?
Mega Man, I don't even, I'm not even going to comment on that. I'm just
right, but that's what I'm saying. Now it's completely different. And matter of fact, you brought this up on the previous show, Tony. No one really was concerned about Iron Man at all. All those Avengers.
Remember what I'm saying. So you're taking two things. I said the Avengers wasn't more popular than X-Men. You knew the Avengers, but you were more engaged into X-Men because they did a better job at putting the X-Men out there. Just like now, they're doing a better job at putting the Avengers out there over X-Men. That's just all it is. But what I'm saying is Star Wars has always been in its own little thing. Everything had to do with everything. So I feel like they haven't, like Star Wars haven't had that much of a vast outbringing. Like Iron Man had comic books, cartoons, like you just go on and on. He, you know, even before the MCU, but Star Wars has just pretty much been the movies. That's why some people don't like the animated. You know, because it feels like it's so separate where because it started off as movies, right? But this started off as comic books and grew into movies. So the opposite, you know, they got more spotlight than Star Wars is all I'm saying. But again, they could get bigger because in terms of money, you know.
I think globally, Star Wars might actually be bigger, honestly. But I think maybe, you know, on domestic front, I'm sure Marvel is bigger. But globally, like it's crazy with Star Wars.
I don't. Whatever. That's
Yeah, that's just my opinion. But anyway, what's next then?
Staying in the MCU, we have Black Panther 2 news, specifically in the casting of perhaps Janelle Monáe potentially being Storm after there was a storm of criticism after Beyonce was
I see what you did.
tied to the role. But I would love her as Storm. Or any character in Wakanda at all, really.
I'm so excited for Storm.
Yeah.
Storm I actually like Janelle Monáe as an actress. She's actually underrated. She's pretty good, actually.
Oh, she got the chops, huh, Mike?
She does have the chops. I will say that.
So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how she is, you know, tied in. And specifically, there was a theory going around how they can bring Killmonger back, and we all know how I love this theory.
But I thought he said he didn't want to do it anymore.
I mean, money, like you said, Tony, money talks. If they throw a big ass check at Michael B. Jordan, he gonna say no.
Right. I mean,
and it's gonna tie in, right?
I think the only way they could bring him back is if he's in the ancestral plane. Like if there's anything else, like it'll just it'll make his death in part one not as like sentimental or whatever if he's just like back or whatever. You know, I mean they do it enough with Loki, and he's already like it's already less filling every time he dies. They can't keep doing that when they bring him back. Yeah, so
switch.
Yeah, I definitely think that'll work very well.
Now, if he was in the ancestral plane, and then he was kind of cool with T'Challa now and giving him advice, I think that would be kind of dope. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, he could give him all the, I guess, the intel that he gained from being going to MIT and being in the CIA.
Yeah, stuff like that. I think that would be good. But if he just like, yeah, we can find a way to bring him back, like I would be upset about that.
And I will wonder if they try to bring him back because it's kind of like to cater into the fans. You know what I'm saying?
I want Killmonger back. I'm just saying. I don't care if he dies like 4 times. Bring him back.
You know what? The ladies love Killmonger, so I can see that.
Yeah. I wonder.
Or maybe one brother.
Or you just want Michael B. Jordan to come back.
No, I like Killmonger's character. Period. Like he's my favorite bad guy.
He does represent literally all of the Black diaspora in the world, Tony. So that might be why.
I know, but she just said maybe it could be his brother. I'm like, well, technically it wouldn't be him then.
And I keep saying this, we actually never saw him die. He can be on ice anywhere, especially in Wakanda with that tech. So I think
the cool thing with comic books is if you're into comic books, you don't seen Captain America die so many times. Like everyone has died in the comic books and came back at some point. Superman died. The Death and Return of Superman was one of the biggest comic books like ever, right? So that was such a big deal. And then they actually put it in the Justice League when he died. They took that from the Death and Return of Superman. So I feel like with comic books, anybody could come back. They could work it out. Like comic books can do that, you know.
I think they can. I just think it's, if there's not any actual stakes in it, then why did he even die in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't. I feel like.
Well, Chloé just said he didn't die.
I don't think he died. I think they assumed he died. Y'all all watched Mandalorian. Oh, not all of us.
Yeah.
The body to prove death. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Chloé, listen, Chloé. Hey, Chloé. Okay. Listen, Chloé. Take this to the bank, okay? Before next week, I'm gonna watch the whole Mandalorian, all right? Because you said that.
It only takes a day.
Okay. All right.
40 episodes.
Chloé could hold me to it. I will have watched the Mandalorian before next Sunday, all right?
And that's on wax right now too.
On wax, yeah.
On wax.
The episodes are like 7 minutes, so you should be able to.
Okay, Miguel, relax, all right. And then Tony doesn't even get the context of this shirt, which is the worst part.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I've heard y'all talk about the Mandalorian before I was ever on the show, so
that's true.
I probably know way to you talking about. We don't want to spoil it. I've heard y'all had when it was just on the audio. Y'all literally no filter, no nothing talked about the show.
I think you're gonna like it a lot, to be honest with you. So
I'm pretty sure I am. It sounds good. I want to see it. I just never had it. It's the only thing on Disney Plus that I want to watch. But like I said, my daughter has a subscription, so I didn't want to get Disney Plus just for that.
But think about it this way, Tony. By October at the latest, Falcon and Winter Soldier will be out.
Is that a given? Like, is that for real?
Yeah.
I mean, they're done filming. This is post-production now.
No, but did we get a date or is that still rumor? That's all I'm saying. I'm curious.
I don't know the actual date, but
but it's not going to get pushed back like Tenet release because it's not in theaters.
Right. No, I'm just curious.
Mando season 2 was already done filming. They were done before the pandemic. So that'll definitely be out.
That's cool.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
Yep. So we're definitely going to do a. Oh yeah.
If you don't check for the body, they're not dead. Duh.
Listen,
Like,
that's why.
Hey,
Chloe, that's
They
why in
let
Scooby Doo they always make sure they pull the mask off. You can't get that on Scooby
pretty
Doo.
much.
So
Pretty much.
you ain't check that body.
Still alive.
And other news, Eternals. Now,
I want to see this.
Now, Tony, tell me what you know about the Eternals for those who don't.
Not much at all. They were not that popular. They were a buddy of mine who's super into comic books was trying to explain it to me, but they're like out there, you know. They just was. I feel like when I was younger in the comic books, X-Men like stole the show, and then you know, Hulk and those prominent characters we all know. Not like Iron Man, apparently, but yeah, I don't know much about the Eternals, to be honest with you.
What about you, Miguel?
I know the Eternals. They, I think they were a race created by the Celestials, and they were put on Earth at some point to kind of like take over the Earth at one point. But something happened, and then they kind of their powers went dormant, and they've been walking around the Earth for many years. And I'm assuming something's going to happen in the movie to where they kind of realize who they are again and start doing stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just curious where their crossover is going to be. I feel like maybe a little bit with Captain Marvel, perhaps.
Yeah, probably. We got to call Nate. Somebody got to call Nate up. Put on speakerphone.
Probably with Captain Marvel or Guardians a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, definitely Guardians as well.
But then again, here's the cool thing though. If they're on Earth, they really could skip it even having to do with space, because if just on Earth and they don't know who they are, and then we get to see them know who they are, then they could get away with not having to pay extra money to get, you know, other actors from the other, like Guardians or Captain Marvel in it, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're gonna.
I'm excited though, as Josh should be, to see Jon Snow and Robb Stark together again on film or whatever. So that's why
absolutely
for that. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And apparently the trailer is going to be released with Black Widow. I think that's going to be the end clip, perhaps. So I'm curious if Black Widow is connected at all as well, because apparently her alternate timeline kind of sets up. And again, spoiler alert if it's correct.
Right.
But apparently, her sister in the film is supposed to take the Black Widow mantle, similar to how Falcon is going to take the Captain America mantle with the shield.
Which I'm still mad about that, the Falcon thing. But
wait, can you explain why?
He don't have any powers. He's just a dude.
You got a good point, though.
I just don't like. It should have been the Winter Soldier taking over. You know what I mean? At least he has some serum inside of him or whatever. You know what I mean? So I just don't feel like he should be Captain America. That's just my point on the whole thing.
Yeah. No, I want to just second that. When I was younger, I used to call Cap corny Cap. I didn't like him that much because I felt like he didn't really stand out as much. And I feel like the Marvel Cinematic Universe did a good job of making Cap popular to me. I was like, okay, now I appreciate him more. But to his point, I already look at Cap a little lower on the scale out of everybody else. And now you got an even lower guy taking over the mantle. It just feels a little strange. But I guess to Josh's point, Josh is a big Batman fan. So it's kind of like, it really, you know, you could be a regular person and still be like a superhero. So before Josh pull out Batman.
There are talks that they might have aspects of the serum in the show, because remember there is a new Captain America as well, like who's part of SHIELD, and I think it's part of the Super Soldier Project. So there actually might be precedent for more serum, and maybe Sam is like, you know what, forget all this. I don't want these wings. I want these wings and some strength. You never know.
Yeah, he needs some strength. if he loses his wings, he ain't catching nobody. Like
exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, but not for nothing. I think they're gonna do that. If you just think how good they do of a job of Batman, like I literally have to argue Batman versus Iron Man, which doesn't even sound like it making sense. But that means they do that much of a good job at making Batman a hero without any powers. So they could do the same thing for him. You know,
he has a superpower.
Huh?
He has a superpower.
What's that?
Money.
Oh, you talking about Batman? Oh,
he has wealth. I mean, they both do, right? Isn't Iron Man rich too? Does he have?
We're talking about what's his actual?
Falcon.
Yeah, Falcon. Yeah.
Falcon. Yeah, I don't know anything about Falcon.
I mean, this is my main point though. So that's a great point, Chloe. So without the money, is Tony Stark still Iron Man?
I mean,
Nope.
yeah, because
By the way, that's a rhetorical question.
No, but here's the thing though, Josh. You got to remember, just like Bruce Wayne, they're both brilliant. And I go as far to say is Tony Stark is more brilliant than Bruce Wayne. So
right,
so
because he sold weapons. That's very smart. That's
not because of weapons, because his intellect. We watch on camera him making and creating things. He was the one to figure out what the Hulk couldn't figure out, to actually figure out how they was going to go back in time. Like, come on.
Well, he's smart, but if they were both poor, they wouldn't be superheroes.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chloe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's regular too. We just think he's not regular because he has a lot of money. So he's actually not. He has superpower, a super bank.
That's right.
Yeah.
Billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, right?
Wait, so the Falcon guy doesn't have money?
Well, he's part of Shield, so I mean, but he's not like has his own wealth, But he, so when you look at Batman or Iron Man, they're kind of could do their own thing because they have their own wealth, right? So Batman, listen, Batman don't take orders from nobody. Iron Man kind of do, with Batman, he do whatever he want. Falcon is way lesser than them because he's just part of the organization. So he's like the company guy, or I won't say he's owned, but he's like, you go to work, he has a boss. You know what I'm saying? Batman has no boss. He has a boss.
Autonomy, yes.
Yeah.
And in other news, Venom 2, and apparently a lot of crossovers with Spider-Man and Morbius, and perhaps Doctor Strange, and thus WandaVision. So I'm very interested to see how Sony and Marvel can make this happen.
Well, I think the Spider-Man part will be, kind of easy because it's already a Sony property, really, and stuff right now. And also, of course, Morbius. I forgot all about Morbius too for some reason because it didn't come out, and I don't know. Yeah, I forgot all about that. I don't know when that release date was. Now I'm just gonna think about it. But anyway, the whole WandaVision, Doctor Strange will be kind of hard. To be honest with you.
Well, I think what Josh is saying is not that like would it be issues with Sony and Marvel, but that can they pull it off cinematically? That's what we care about. Because me personally. Again, you know me, I'm not so big into the studios behind the scenes or the directors, but if I could watch it on screen, if the end result is good, then I'll give thumbs up to whoever made that happen. So I think Josh's point is like, man, are they going to pull it off? Because we've seen in the past, they kind of dropped the ball with Josh's favorite Spider-Man. Sorry about that. But Spider-Man 3. But, are they going to pull it off,
Or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Yeah. Because think about it, they have a really good Spider-Man, right? We could all agree we like Tom Holland, and they have a really good Venom. We could all agree we like Tom Hardy. Yeah. So if they could nail it, that's gonna be cool for fans,
Yeah, I honestly think they're gonna knock it out the park because by then I feel like Tom Holland would have done his role as Nathan Drake in Uncharted movie, so I can't wait for that. So I think he's just gonna get bigger and bigger.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know about Nathan Drake. I don't know nothing about that, but
I'll watch what? Before you said that, Mike, what I was about to say was, and then hear me out with this, Josh. Some people don't know about the Uncharted series, but what Tom Holland can do is actually bring that to light. If he so we all know that's like Sony's crown gem at video games, right? They own Naughty Dog Studios. So if Tom Holland could make it a great movie, you're like, man, this movie kind of felt like an Indiana Jones type movie, but it's like a younger guy. Like, this was great, and some people say, oh yeah, they had a game, and if you kind of play games and he make you want to actually play those games, he did an amazing job.
So what's the game about?
It's kind of like Indiana Jones. He's like a treasure hunter, and he's been doing it since he was younger. So
a little bit of Tomb Raider in there as well.
Yeah. If you made Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider, that's Uncharted.
I got you.
All right.
Yeah.
And Tom would actually be in two movies and video games because he's already in the Spider-Man video game. But then he would be in I'm sure they would bring out Uncharted again with his voice and actor in the film as well if they're being smart about it. They're being clever.
Yeah.
Well, we all know video games, movies don't always do well, so I'll be excited to see if it does. So.
Yeah, you got a good point.
I'm just gonna do that. Oh wait, this too. Wait, how did you get here? So yeah, I'll just put that there for the panel.
Was that Lord of the Rings games good?
Oh, it's fantastic.
I think you know what it is. I think the Lord of the Rings games were considered good, but no. Here's the thing though. But here's the thing but hear me out. The thing with Lords of the Ring, and Mike could probably understand this because he didn't watch them yet. They have such a certain specific following that I feel like the games went so under the radar. Like Josh, as a fan, was like, I played them, it was great, but you ask. Majority of gamers are like, nobody spend no time playing Lord of the Rings. So I feel like they didn't get their just due. So when you think of Mike's point, like they don't really do a good job when they make movies and the games. A lot of gamers would be like, yeah, you're right, but you are able to say that was good. But we're kind of like, wait, Lord of the Rings? Oh yeah, they did have a game. Huh.
Yeah. And I wonder if there's going to be any type of game associated with the Amazon Prime Lord of the Rings show. That would be interesting as well.
Yeah, they're already working on a Lords of the Rings, so that's kind of cool.
Absolutely,
that should be a huge show. Huge show.
I mean, they spent $500 million for it, so it better be just for the rights, not even production cost.
I always forget I got Amazon Prime. That's something I barely ever use.
But that's what The Boys is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Oh yeah, see, the season 2 come out yet, Miguel?
September it comes out, and the trailer just dropped for it. Actually.
All right, I'm putting on wax. I will finish season 1 before season 2.
Oh, did you start? Right. Did you start it?
Not yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think Josh, you're gonna be hooked when you watch the first episode. Episode.
I love the concept already. I love.
You watched it, right, Chloe?
No.
All right, so you got to watch The Boys before season 2, before September.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I can do that.
I think you will like it though, Chloe.
Yeah.
I like superpowers. Like I loved X-Men. Just saying.
Cool. Yeah, you'll like it.
Did you like Dark Phoenix? Did you see that one?
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, don't waste your time.
It was trash.
I was about to say, I don't think many people like Dark Phoenix. I don't even know why you brought it up.
No, she said she liked X-Men. I was curious if it's the most recent X-Men film.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, I didn't see the most recent one.
Don't do it.
Because I had Sansa Stark as Jean Grey. So
it did.
Interesting. Maybe I will watch it just to have an opinion on it.
Well, we apologize in advance for your time wasted.
I think what's cool with Chloe is she may like it. So think about it. When you kind of are into comic books or the movies a little bit more, you critique these things and you listen to the buzz. I feel like Chloe's not going to allow the buzz to mess up the movie for her. She's probably gonna be like, it was all right, you know. But other people, we're probably like, man, because we're comparing it to this movie and that movie, and so it's so she might like it.
Did you see it in the theater or did you watch it at home?
I seen it in theater.
See, that's also like that can make a difference.
And you have a good point. You remember you said it on one of the other shows. You was like, certain movies I watch at home. That's not a theater movie, and you have a good point. So if you watch it at home, you probably be like, I mean, it wasn't that bad. You spent this money, went out, went to the movies, like, man, this
popcorn.
Yeah,
popcorn.
Spend the extra $20 on snacks. You see the movie and it's trash, and you're like, dang, I could have watched this at home. This is horrible.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
She has a good point.
with that movie, I did.
Damn.
It was like, no.
Well, speaking with other online content, I'm not sure if you guys ever watched this show, but I'll be curious if you did.
All right, there we go.
Wait, what's that sound?
An airplane?
Oh, wow. So, The Last Airbender, the live action show, is coming back, and an actor from one of Chloe's favorite films, Hook, Dante Bosco, who played Rufio, he was interviewed and he talked about how the production process was coming along, possibly casting some people with ethnic diversity, because the show itself did have ethnic diversity as well. So he was talking about making sure they did that correctly. And I know a lot of people didn't like the film that came out from M. Night,
right.
But I had never heard of The Last Airbender, and I think it did its job, because after I saw the film, then I went back and saw the show, and I was like, oh, the show is amazing, but they ruined the film. So that should have been, if they did that correctly, that could have been like a Harry Potter in terms of like 6 to 8 films if they did that correctly.
Yeah, they just put the cartoons on Netflix.
I put it back on Netflix.
Okay, I didn't realize it was off before. I know it was a big deal for my wife's son. He had us all watching it. I'm not that into it, so I watched maybe the 5 episodes and I kind of fell out. And then, but him and his mom are still watching it, so they get together and they're gonna go through the whole thing. So that's cool.
I can dig it. I think you might like it, Tony, if you gave it a chance. My bad.
I did give it a chance. I watched 5 episodes, and I was, what it is? My anime and this anime, the newer is different for me. When I grew up, it was super violent. It wasn't funny. Like, it's too many jokes and kids. The characters. It's like a kids show. The characters get slapped in the back of the head. Their eyes get real big. Like, that's why I'm not. Yeah, I'm not into Dragon Ball. Like, when I was into anime, it wasn't series. It was movies. You put on Ninja Scrolls, you'd be like, what is this? It was, hardcore action, blood, violence. Like, it wasn't the silly, like the new anime to me, it just speaks children. So it's hard for me to really stay so into it.
I was going to say, I was like you, Josh. I didn't even know anything about him. And I watched the movie and I was like, it's not bad. So it wasn't really fun to me at all.
Yeah. And I actually went to the movies to see the movies, which is funny. Because it was just a buzz about it. Never seen the cartoon, but I went, to see what was the buzz about. And when people hated it, I was like, well, I don't know. I can't judge it to anything. So it was decent to me.
Right. I was the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently what people are mad at is they got a lot wrong. So that's the thing. Yeah.
It makes sense if I, because I got stuff where I want them to get it right too. But in that sense, it didn't really affect me at all. So.
Right. You don't know what was wrong. So you're like,
yeah, basically, right? Oh, and finally, we get to talk about obviously one of my favorite IPs. So apparently there is going to be a TV series on HBO Max. The one thing that I think all Batman lovers and people who want a Gothamverse wanted from Warner Brothers. So they are learning from Marvel, and they actually might beat Marvel at their own game, because this is where Warner Brothers excels in TV shows, especially on HBO.
So they're gonna do like they're gonna start the kind of like what they got the like WB shows. They're gonna try to do it on HBO.
Except these shows are going to be integrated with the film. So this Gotham Batman themed TV show is going to take place in the Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson Batman universe. So
okay, so
that'll be connected.
Yeah, they're pretty much going to do what Marvel already said they was doing with Disney Plus.
And that's why it could actually be done better by HBO. Which
I don't think it's the reason why I think it might be hard to do better is, again, Marvel has such a leg up because they have so many movies. They built a universe that we're so familiar with, and I feel like, again, it's like we talked about the Justice League versus the Avengers, right? Like the Justice League was put together so quick in a short period of years, where the Marvel had how many years? So like we're gonna watch WandaVision and we're gonna watch all this stuff and be like, it's gonna connect so good, and we're gonna watch the WB or slash stuff and be like, who does he have? What? You know? We'll see.
Interesting.
I'm not knocking DC, but
if it starts with the movies they're bringing out now and then go forward towards shows and connect them that way, I think it'll be fine. I think it being on HBO Max is good because then it could be a little darker and, you know, more adult-like and stuff like that, especially HBO Max. I feel like those WB shows, even though they're DC, they're like, I don't know, they're like low budget to me. Like the whole
definitely.
And I know they're popular. Like, don't get me wrong, I know the Flash and all this stuff is popular, but to me, it's just like a hard watch. But I do think that I think it'll be good for them. But again, I don't think they can compete with the longevity Marvel's had. No. That's the only thing I would say.
Now, let me ask you this: what makes you think it's going to be good, Josh? Because it will be on HBO? Because it would be darker?
Absolutely, I would say do not underestimate the adult content.
Now,
because we see Game of Thrones, we see shows like Entourage that you still haven't seen either.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Now here's where I counter you. I'm sure most of us heard of that show Titan. That's super violent. That was on Hulu, right? I think it's on Hulu. Right? Who's watched it though? Like my friend, one time my friend was watching it. And he showed me, he sent me a clip of an episode. And I was like, what? Like, I mean, Robin was like killing people, cut heads off. It was so dark, but I really didn't care that much. So who here even seen it?
Well, no, it's not on Hulu. It's on the DC streaming service.
Okay. Well,
it was on there. Right. But I think that's part of the issue. It's just the DC streaming service. So they don't have a lot else to offer. Like people are already going to have HBO. So they might want to just, looking at it by default because it's on there, Like
but isn't HBO Max like a whole different? You got to get a service, right? So it's not like if you have HBO, you automatically have HBO Max. Is that how it goes?
It's a separate subscription service,
right? So you can't say everybody's gonna have it. I'm not gonna get HBO Max to watch a DC show that's violent. I didn't get DC. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I guess if you're already a streamer type person, if if you don't have regular cable and you had like HBO Now before this started or whatever, like you're going to get the same content. So, and the way the world is going, most people are going towards streaming services, little by little.
Is HBO Now and HBO Max going to be integrated together, or are you going to have two services?
No, they're going to be integrated together.
Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah.
So, I'm just saying, I think that'll make it be watched more than DC streaming. Yeah, like who was really getting that? They got like a Harley Quinn cartoon on there or something like that.
Right.
And so, but again, like you said, who was really putting the money out to just get those things or whatnot?
Right.
So,
yeah.
And again, Batman's a much bigger IP with the same brand appeal as Star Wars, right? And the MCU alone. So to me, I would say globally it's going to have more of a reach, similar to how Game of Thrones was at the end, and especially if they do it correctly. And we all know, and this is one of the reasons why Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and who recently left the MCU as well?
Scarlett Johansson.
ScarJo were clamoring to get out of their contracts because Disney keeps you in a box. You can't do anything edgy at all. So I think it's going to attract much more talent who loves being part of a gritty project, which is what kind of attracted Robert Pattinson to the Batman role. So I think you're going to get a lot more talent in, let's say, the DCEU and in the Warner Brothers family than you would Disney. Because Disney's going to get who Disney's going to get, but now you're going to have more people looking at other places to work.
I mean, that part I agree with. That was the whole reason why I knew Beyonce wasn't going to do Storm when there was a rumor, because I knew she wouldn't sign that contract with Disney, for 3 to 5 movies and all this other stuff and whatnot. So that's actually a good point you're making because of that. Like Disney does keep you locked up and in a box a lot of times.
Yeah, but I think on Disney side it makes sense because you got this great character that you want people to fall in love with, which is going to make people go see the next one and the next one. And you don't want people out there doing anything that might hurt that characters. We tie people to their characters, you know. So it's like, oh, you find out somebody do a sex scene and something, and then how can I look at Beyond Storm now? You know, it's kind of weird the way we do things. But
yeah, I agree with that too, 100%.
What are your thoughts, Chloe?
I'm just waiting. I want to see how this is going to work. And I also think that it being on HBO Max is going to be good because everyone watches HBO. And honestly, people probably watch less HBO now because of all the other streaming services. So they're going to put a lot of marketing into it to get you to subscribe to HBO Max independently of cable. Because like most people I know don't even have cable in our generation. Anyway. Like I refuse to pay for cable. I have streaming services. I just pay for internet.
Same here. I don't have cable. I got a Fire Stick streaming service.
I got cable, but I don't have any of the major channels. So you're right. I just pay for the basic thing. And honestly, I barely even watch it. If it wasn't for the kids, I probably would, you know, wouldn't have it either.
And there's a potential in the future for a Game of Thrones prequel show to be on the same time as a Batman show. I mean, that's going to be monstrous.
If you answer that question,
I think Game of Thrones. Go ahead, Chloe. What were you saying?
I was saying I'm excited for the adult content too.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Game of Thrones dropped the ball. I think they should have been like ready with a show already, honestly. So
because I feel like because the way the last season ended, I feel like you would have made it up to your fans by letting us go into a good show. You know. Yeah,
I agree with that 100%. So we'll see what they do. But I think
and George R.R. Martin didn't even finish the book yet.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's also DC's biggest issue too. Like, I mean, I know we had the pandemic today, but even before that, like, I don't think they even started like with Aquaman yet, and Wonder Woman came out like 2016. It's like a 2020. You know what I mean? Like, I think they dropped the ball on having sequels and stuff like that a little bit. So.
Yeah, so we'll see how 1984 is.
Yeah, you know, I think because they was probably, you know, we always got to give Marvel credit, right? Because I think, again, one of you guys said, it might have been Josh, might have been Mike, but their foresight was amazing, right? Yes. So months ago on an episode, again, I'm a fan, but you guys said their foresight was amazing. So here's the thing, Kevin Feige. So here's the thing is like, I think DC is in the normal realm of making movies. Like you make a one shot, you might make a couple that tie in, whereas Marvel was like, we're gonna tie in. And who would have known, right? That it was gonna work so great. Who would have known all those movies would have the payoff? You got Infinity War and Avengers, like Avengers, Infinity War. I guess I'll just say Infinity War and Endgame. So who would have known, right? Like it would have been so like the longevity, like you would have never told me that years ago. Like, what if they took like 11 years? I'm like, you know, stop 11. They're gonna mess. So I think that's DC issue, but you can't blame them. They just was the regular way of making movies. No other movie franchise like did that well. You know, you can't even look at like a Friday the 13th that has, you know, so many movies. Each movie was kind of different. You know, it wasn't like the continuation wasn't kind of like what Marvel did, you know? So yeah, it's not DC's fault. I just feel like they didn't realize that they could pull that off. And
that's true. And like you said, you got to give credit to Feige. And after all, Disney's business model is a lot different than Warner's. Disney will throw money at anything, kind of like how Nike does in the fashion realm. So they committed hundreds of millions, billions of dollars over a course of 20 years to this project. And again, that's not how Warner's and DC does business. So, but in terms of the streaming platform, in terms of TV shows and content like that, that's their wheelhouse. That is Warner's wheelhouse. So I expect them to excel at this stage of the war, let's say. Marvel has been dominating the battle, but the war is not over.
You know what's cool too is I think because it's on HBO, especially to Chloe's point, being adult, I'm sure that HBO heads, right? They're gonna obviously have some say so, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, listen, we got stuff like True Blood, Game of Thrones, like you name the HBO shows, like they're not little candy cooker, you know, cookie cutter shows. So it's like if they come on HBO, they're gonna give us adults what we want." You know, like to Chloe's point.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to your point, Tony, because you bring this up all the time versus the animation versus the live action. A lot of people who are into this content are grown now. We want to see some gore and some adult content.
I will say though, even though it was on Fox, Gotham was done really well. So I will say that.
Oh yeah.
You know what's funny? So I have friends who like Batman, and they said they dropped the ball in the beginning and it turned them off. I know some people who tried to watch it and then fell off. Some people kept watching. It was like, okay, it got better a couple seasons in, but I heard they didn't do a good job when it first started.
In the very beginning, I will say it wasn't as great, but it definitely picked up throughout the time.
So the payoff was pretty good.
Yes.
I mean, even my dad finished Gotham.
Yeah, it was good. If you ever get a chance, if you ever have, maybe if you ever off work again, just check it out. You might like.
I don't like Batman.
You're not a Batman fan, never mind.
I will not subject myself to that. Now, if it's on HBO, so that's why I love what Chloe made her main point. We already know HBO does things well in adult way, like just a grown folk show. That would be a reason, like Josh point, to get me to say, like on WB or Fox, whatever channel Batman Gotham came on, I was like, never, ever, ever. But on HBO, all I have to hear is one person be like, bro, the first episode, like, all right, the guys who didn't see, this is what I'm gonna say. The people who didn't see The Boys yet, and Mike did, the first episode, I'm in. So if Batman first episode is like The Boys first episode, you got me.
Yeah, that's true.
And HBO could do that.
Yeah, and that's a true point, because with The Boys, I didn't even know about them, at all. Me too. And I didn't watch it until I think the show was already done for like a couple of months, and I was just like, let me check this out, and I was hooked after the first episode. He's right, So I expect to hear reports when Josh and Chloe are watching The Boys and see what's going on.
Well, the cool thing with The Boys is you almost can't be quiet, which is why we still got to get to it. Once you see it, you're going to talk about that first episode, and you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I can't wait to hear Chloe be like, I can't wait. I can't wait. Josh is going to be like, what? Yeah. So we definitely going to talk, because you're not going to be able to be quiet.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime Video.
Good thing I'm a Prime.
There you go. And we all are, so we all get it.
Everybody orders from Amazon. I think the whole world has a Prime.
Well, I think that's why they got the blueprint, because you get the Prime Video with your Prime. Right. So I think it's kind of, it's a win-win for them. I'm almost surprised. I won't be surprised if they go up in price soon, because of like the Lord of the Rings series. They got to make that money back some kind of way.
Yeah, I give them for that. But I will say this. Prime never, like whenever we're like, oh, let's watch a movie, right? We'll go to Amazon. We'll go to Netflix first. It's just like, you think Netflix, right?
I forget you got Prime Video all the time. I agree.
Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, Prime. And I feel like their content for me is never that great. Like I started watching Hannah because I watched the movie back in the day. So I was like, all right, let me watch the show Hannah. And then I fell off, so I need to jump back on it. But other than that, I watched a movie called Hell House that was on there.
You got to watch the Hugh Hefner biopic, docuseries.
Okay, that would probably be kind of cool.
And also the one, what was the show, Josh? Telling me and John to watch with John Krasinski.
Jack Ryan. Oh yeah. Man. Yeah.
Okay, Ryan. Okay, yeah.
That's also on Prime. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, they're definitely spending money on advertisement, because they sent like a paper envelope to my house to remind me that I had Prime Video. So they're definitely spending money on that.
Yeah. Most people do forget.
But
Yeah, I definitely forget. But they do have 47 Meters Down Uncaged, and I need to watch that. So I was a big fan of the first movie, so I got to get around, even though the second one looks cheesy. But Amazon does have that, so I'm like, okay.
How is Hannah the show?
It's cool. Did you see the movie?
Yeah, I saw it with what's his name? Eric Bana.
Eric Bana, yeah. It's cool. It really makes you feel like you're watching that, but like pacing out really slow. So yeah, I think it's pretty good.
The movie is right now on HBO, so I was thinking about watching the movie again and then watching the show.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with the show. I just need to start watching it again. But it is a little slow though. Like it starts off kind of slow, because remember the movie's kind of methodical. It's like your daughter is like a trained killer, and you trained her. This is not spoilers. But
it's in the previews,
yeah. But you trained your daughter to kill this lady, and you're playing it off that she's innocent so they could get her, and then she tried to kill her, and it's like, wow. And then you see the show gets into her training, and so you can imagine the show is gonna, yeah. So it's a little start off a little slow.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll probably add that to the list as well. And I think Jack Ryan season 2 should be coming out soon as well. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Normally, if I start something, I'll go for it. So one of those two I'm gonna start, and then I'll be stuck on it and watching it every night and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So I got my homework to do because Chloe ain't gonna be talking about me next week. Did you watch Mandalorian?
You know what? You know why I'm mad, Josh? Because you and I have been saying it for months. But once Chloe said it, now he gonna watch it. So I'm like, what's up with that?
I don't know, just the way she said it. She was like, "Well, some people on here ain't watching." I'm like, you know what? All right.
It is kind of bad that you that now everybody watches it except you. So you definitely got to check it out. So.
And you know what's funny? I thought I was gonna watch it for Chloe because nobody gave her the password.
I had to be resourceful.
Right?
Okay.
You know,
use those feminine wiles to get free.
Eesh.
As she played with her hair. But yeah, you know what's cool?
Just watch the show. It's worth it, okay?
All right. No, you know what? I heard Mike and them talk about it. You know, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I used to be. And you know, I just knew the show was gonna be good. You know, seeing all the little Baby Yoda memes and all that. And actually, Chloe, I gotta mess with you because you kept referring to him as a kid, but I thought the other day in the chat you was like Baby Yoda, and then they was like, well, you can't call him that. So I feel like
I want to call him first of all, and I call him Baby Yoda because that's my nickname.
Like you allowed them. I feel like I feel like you allowed them to change your calling of him.
No, it was because I watched more episodes, and I can appreciate knowledge when it's given to me.
Gotcha.
But I call him Baby Yoda, but his name is the kid, the child.
The child, actually.
The package.
But it's so cute. I didn't realize how cute he was.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
by the way, Tony, this is I'm just gonna add to your shame here because we're having a shame party for Tony, right?
Fair enough.
The simple fact that Jon Favreau, who launched the MCU with Iron Man, is part of the project, and you still ain't see it. Come on.
And you can't shame me on that because I said I'm not the director. I don't know who Jon Favreau is. I don't know what he did.
That's Happy. Do you know who Happy is?
And
this guy claims he's a movie fan, but he don't know who Jon Favreau is.
No, but that's not fair. I'm a movie
Iron
fan.
Man
Listen, I'm a movie. Listen, watching the credit. Let me ask you this: before they start putting things mixed in the credit, whoever watched all the credits?
They always put stuff in the credit.
No, stop. Before putting things in the credit got popular, right? Whoever watched the credits? Nobody. Like I wonder who the director on this one is. Nobody. So why would I? No. I didn't go to film school. I didn't want to be nowhere in my realm is I could care less who made Friday the 13th, who wrote the first screen.
Because you're a Friday the 13th fan, you should have. I mean, not saying you should have, but yeah, I guess it's how we look at things differently. Like,
you do.
I would have wanted to know who made this one and that one, especially because as you said, as you just said. Right? Or we talked about on our show how the movies have, got different to Friday the 13th, right? So I would have wanted to know, like, well, who made this one versus who made this one? Because I'm like, why did they change up a little bit?
And now you got that knowledge. Or what's the guy name you just said who was Happy? What's the name?
Jon Favreau.
Did you ever send him a birthday card? Did you thank him for his great services for making this movie so great? No, you're going no. So, but I get it though. It is cool when you could say,
I mean,
you know what?
If you're aware of the film industry, then you know their contribution to the industry, which is why these things have buzz about them when a certain director is attached to a project.
No, I mean that's cool, but I feel like it's not needed. Like, I don't need to know that to watch the movie and even say the movie was awesome, right? So let me ask you this. So, because this is my thing, what made them being the person behind the movie made the movie a better movie? Because now it's like hypnosis. You might like a movie more or not like a movie more based off of who wrote the screenplay or who was in the orchestra. The third guy behind the violinist he was on that trombone, and I can't stand this movie because that part, like, come on, you're getting out of hand now. I want to sit in my chair.
We literally had an episode about typecasting, which applies to actors as well. What you said literally applies to actors.
No, I mean, you can go on the whole typecasting thing if you're into that. If you feel that it may, because so typecasting is like this. Typecasting is kind of like a post thing. Somebody do something, they're stuck in that role, and it's after you already seen the movie. So now you look at another movie like, oh, I wonder if Nicolas Cage is gonna act like he act in every other movie, right? Because that's his tone, he's a little monotone, is the way he is. He was gonna be like that if he wasn't even an actor. He could have been the mailman. Come, hey, here's your mail. I mean, that has nothing to do with the movie itself, man. But again, you guys, you look at it differently. And again,
apparently it does. If you look at the stats, if you look at the numbers, if you look at the complaints or the praise afterwards, it's directly due to the director and the actors and the writers. This is why all this information is public, because that gets people excited about the film.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you on that, but the actual movie, when you're sitting in a movie with your popcorn and eating it, like nowhere am I eating it. Well, I mean, you guys might be. You might be eating it like, man, I hope this character jump in there because George Lucas in his book, and I know his vision, so I know they're gonna have to make that moment where I jump. Like, I'm just enjoying the movie for the movie, but that's just me.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm kind of in the middle too, because I don't know the names of most directors.
Right.
First off, but I can appreciate the work of the directors, and so like knowing after I see the film, it's kind of like an artist. Like people have different tastes in artists.
Right.
Like if it's a Drake album and there's a certain producer on the first one and a certain producer on the second one, it might have a different impact even though I love Drake. You feel me? So like it's important to know who the director is, but it's also not gonna, I guess, impact how I feel about the movie.
Right.
I'm just gonna movie I'm not, and if I don't like it, I'm be like, dang, this director sucks compared to the last one.
Right.
So I know that I'm not gonna get my hopes up for the next movie if it's directed by that person. Mind you, I don't know like any directors except for like Steven Spielberg or like M. Night Shyamalan, but like, you know, you gotta have
it definitely holds weight. Like I like horror, so if I sometimes I'd be like The Mist is one of my most watched movies of all time. Whenever I mention The Mist, I make sure so people take it serious. Stephen King's The Mist, and people are like, oh no, I didn't see that, but they get that. So I get what you guys are saying. But if I never knew Stephen King made The Mist, I still was gonna love The Mist as much as I do. So
it's like the cherry on top. Like, oh, it's this movie and Stephen King.
And
feel about the directors. So I mean, it makes sense. I'm just not a director buff.
Yeah,
I get all your points, and actually to her point about the music, same thing. Like when I was huge on buying albums or whatever, like I want to know who produced the tracks and stuff like that, whether it was Kanye West or Swiss Beats or Timbaland or whatever. Like I would know that for each track I listen to and stuff like that. So yeah, I've always been that way. I guess wanting more information. I guess, but Jon Favreau is also an actor. That's why I was surprised you don't know who he is, Tony. Not just because he's the director.
I still don't know who he is. Who is he? You said Happy. He said Happy. I don't know what that's.
I mean, he was Happy. He was in Swingers with Vince Vaughn. He was the other guy in Swingers. He was in Rudy.
Happy
is Tony Stark's driver. So that's like not knowing who Alfred is in Batman.
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, okay, I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
with the imaginary unicorn.
That's what. See, thank you, Chloe. I was gonna say Happy. I'm thinking about the USA show Happy. When he said Happy, I was like, that's who I thought he was talking about. And they probably have no clue who that is. But yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Right, but how is that related to? That was an Iron Man. A unicorn was an Iron Man.
You never said Iron Man. You literally just said Happy. All you said was Happy.
We were talking about Iron Man. I literally brought up Iron Man. I was like, and he directed Iron Man, and he was in Iron Man.
No, Happy. You said he was in Happy, so I'm thinking Happy.
No. I said his character's name is Happy.
No, you said Happy. You was like Happy, and I was like, so I was thinking what Chloe was thinking about.
I mean, I hear you, but I don't see how that's even in the same universe as Iron Man, to be honest.
But you're throwing out there who played a certain things. I don't know. I didn't get it, but yeah, I know who he is now.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was a director also.
Yeah, that's what makes him dope and whatnot. Because he did The Lion King last year too. He did what's the other one? The Jungle Book and stuff like that. He did all those
I
movies.
didn't see either one of those.
I know. I'm just saying he did that. Whatnot. He's becoming huge, and now he has control of the Star Wars Mandalorian stuff or whatever.
You know what's cool? I think what I appreciate is that it's people like you and Josh that probably makes it well worth being a director for these directors, right? Because they probably felt like in the past, maybe in the past, people didn't care as much. They probably felt like, man, I'm going unnoticed. But now there's people like you guys that make it clear to point out to me and Chloe, like, dude, he's done this, done that. And it's like, you know what? I again, you know me, I like to give credit where credit is due. So to y'all guys' point, that's really cool. I like that, you know. It doesn't sway me, doesn't move the needle, so to speak. But I think that's really cool that there are people that's like diehard fans of directors because they should get credit, you know.
To be honest, though, I will say this: I liked him as an actor, and now the directing and executive producing, it takes up most of his time. So I kind of miss him sometimes in different movies. So I will say that and whatnot. I mean, I'm happy for him, but I missed his acting sometimes and whatnot too. So.
Well, he'll be in the Spider-Man in that role, though.
Yeah, but he was in so many like movies with Vince Vaughn, all this other stuff. Like he never does none of that anymore, stuff like that, because he's not.
Yeah, like
really...
you said, where he had prominent roles.
Yeah, exactly. So, like Swingers is plastic. If you guys never seen that, like that's.
I mean, I know I have.
Tony, have you seen Swingers?
I don't remember.
Wait, Miguel, can you remind us who else is on that cast?
Swingers?
There was a bunch of those type of movies, and I'm trying to think. Sandy, did we see the movie Swingers? I don't know. I gotta see the trailer.
Vince Vaughn is in there.
Vince Vaughn, Heather Graham. Yeah, it's got a pretty good cast. It's 1996, so I don't know if you and Sandy seen it, but
oh yeah. Well, we didn't see it good enough. So
yeah,
I think I didn't see it.
It's like one of those classic movies where everybody says lines from it. You probably heard lines from Swingers and other movies and didn't know what they were talking about, because it's one of those things where like it has like popular lines in the movie that people say. So
yeah, I love trailers. I'm a trailers guy, but I just don't remember. 96. Now I know why. I'm like, what?
I had to go back and watch it, of course, because it was such a popular. What they call it, a cult movie, I guess.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Cult classic, absolutely.
Yeah, cult classic, and so I had to go back and watch it. I was like, "It's pretty good." So, I don't know. Anyway, moving forward, Josh.
But yeah, the guys, that's basically it. And just a reminder that we'll probably be doing a Mandalorian season 2. I guess Disney party. It's not a Netflix party, but a Disney watch along party as well. Probably a Witcher rewatch, actually, because I don't think Chloe's seen The Witcher yet. So that'll be another one.
She might not like it.
The Witcher. What is it about? A witch?
Yeah, I mean,
going to your Witcher.
It's based on a video game. Tony, you want to tell her about the video game?
Yeah, it's a video game where a guy, actually not a guy. There's a bunch of people who they're kind of like taken from their family at a young age, and they're kind of like, I don't want to say created, but they're taught to just like kill creatures. So like if your town has like creatures, you'll be one of the guys who they will hire to kill the creature. And so it's huh?
Is it like the Ghostbusters?
So let me paint the picture, Tony, since for whatever reason you did not do this. So it's a medieval time period similar to Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings. So it's in that magical fantasy realm like that.
Yeah, I should have definitely added that part. That would help to give a lot of context. So it's not like the Ghostbusters, but in a sense, it kind of is like the Ghostbusters, but in medieval. So you don't have no ectoplasm, but you got swords. But but the guy also has kind of like powers and abilities, kind of like, and he had potions where he could drink something and make him like see, like get like better hearing and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean the premise, and it's Henry Cavill, which is Superman. So the women like to look at him. So that's
and it's adult content, Chloe. So there are copious amounts of profanity and sex scenes as well.
Yeah, a lot of nudity, a lot of oh boobies, oh plenty. No, it's the song that people love singing this song and kind of like. But, my wife and I actually did a twist on the songs and toss a coin to your stripper. But anyway, so but I think the thing is that the reason why I think she may not like it is the premise of it I feel is really good, but I feel like the delivery wasn't that good. And so I feel like you get caught up, like when we watched it, I kind of watched it to watch it, but I was like, yo, man.
Here's what I'll say, Chloe. That what he's talking about is that, and I didn't at first remember, like when I first started watching it, I was upset too.
Are you gonna ruin this for her? You sound like you're actually just gonna ruin it. Don't do that. That's
no, I'm not gonna. No, it's not, bro. I got to give her a heads up about this.
No, but that's part of the show. Like that's not fair. Because I might be wrong. She might like it more because if you take that away from her, you just took away the show.
All right.
Josh, can you please chime in?
No, he's right because that's part of the experience.
Yeah,
that was part of your experience.
Just because I felt like, listen, maybe I'm a little slow, right?
I mean,
that could be my fault.
We can all agree with that.
And that's fine. But I feel like don't do that to her because
damn.
Right. I'm joking, but he knows my guy.
Yeah, man, that's my guy. But yeah, let's not. Yeah, don't steal that from her.
All right. I won't tell you, but just watch it. It's good. I like it. You know. It's 10 episodes, and they're about almost an hour, like 45, 50 minutes a piece.
Yeah.
Whatnot. So
you
might be a while.
Here's what's cool. The second they're coming out with another season, I really think the season is going to be even better. And they do a really good job of a character development. Like these characters, so they do. It's a good show. Me personally, what Mike is talking about that we won't talk about is that part I felt they didn't do a good job, so it messed me up. But a lot of people agree with me, some people don't. So you might be with a person who don't. So it is a good watch, and I feel like the next show is gonna be even better. And you shouldn't be left out. And like it's gonna be another thing where it's like The Mandalorian. You and I I didn't watch it yet. You did, but you probably like, man, I'm glad I watched it. It's gonna be one of those. Okay. You're gonna be glad you watched it.
Let me ask you a question. What did Sandy feel about the show?
She likes it a lot less than me.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, we started watching that and You at the same time. It was cool. We watched an episode of You and then an episode of The Witcher. The second episode of You, we kept piggybacking to a point we got where we stopped watching The Witcher and just kept watching You. And when You was over, it was like, okay, now let's go back to The Witcher. And we was kind of both watching like. I mean, it's good, but I kind of don't want to watch it. But I can see that it's going to be better.
Okay.
In the next season.
And it also inspired Tony and Sandy Cheeks to do this.
And now your mama knows.
Toss a coin to your stripper, oh boobies, oh plenty, oh boobies, oh plenty, oh.
Toss a coin to your stripper, oh boobies, oh plenty.
Thank you for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And now, your mama knows.
And now, Chloe knows.
Oh, man. Josh, you are, wow. Yeah. But Josh, to all fairness, it was you that was like, dude, you got to make it a meme. You got to make it a meme. I was like, no, you got to do it. You got to do it. So I looked at my wife. I was like, all right. And at first it was just a meme, a picture. I sent it to Josh. He was like, dude, this is good. I feel like it could be more. And I was like, all right, let's make a song into it. And next thing you know. So Josh, that was all you. You might as well have been the you could take some, you would have been in the credits. Let's say that.
Oh, I got an EP credit. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what? Her voice wasn't that bad. You, on the other hand.
Yeah, you know what's funny? She doesn't really like to sing at all, which is funny. And I was like, yo, like she, did your thing.
Speaking of Miguel, are you going to grace us with your vocal cords today, sir?
One of these
No.
days.
Tony said the first time I do it, it'll be on our show. So
I did say it. I was like, since you never did it, it only feels right if you do it on BigMike Little Ant.
Yeah, so I'll do it on.
So
on
hopefully, food for the culture as well. I think that'll be a very hearty meal.
Well, yeah, Josh, if I could get him to first do it there, then you could hold him to trying to doing it on Food for the Culture, you know? Because we would have opened him up.
Yeah,
I mean, because you keep missing the collaboration, Miguel, because you know I play a little bit of the piano. So
that's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then Banks could write some poetry. You could sing that. It could be a whole production. You that's what I'm saying.
You're right.
Trying to do something.
Yeah. Let's do it. What about you, Chloe? Do you sing, or what's going on with you over there? She's like, no.
Hold. Let's not forget the name. Code is explain the name.
No, that's a private story, actually. So.
Wow.
Hey, Chloe, I'm sure you could dance, or you and I could be backup dancers for them.
I will sit in the audience, and I will be your number one fan.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's what she does. All right.
So, guys.
One day we'll get the story out of here. So.
Yeah, maybe.
But all right, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you for joining us, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Take care.